Hello guys and welcome to another day with ZIMALETA. In today's video, I want to talk about doing something good in the world. Possibly for me to open up a non-profit organization to use my YouTube status and reputation to try to help families in need, specifically hungry kids. So here's my idea, guys. I actually have this idea that I actually just came up with, and I'm not sure how serious I am about doing it as like a non-profit organization, but I actually want to help families that have kids and they cannot afford to put like food on the table. Like seriously, like I see like a lot of these families like in Russia, like I hear about them and stuff, and I know who they are. I know who these families are. This is not like out of the blue. And I'm like so surprised that they cannot afford to buy a piece of bread, like a piece of bread for a whole family with like, I don't know, like 9 kids. And I'm like, what? Like, that is like so heartbreaking. So I'm kind of thinking, you know what? Like, I want to do something about it. Like, I really like out of my pocket, like I want to like feed these families. And I like what Tony Robinson's doing. Like one day, like somebody feed his family and he learned from that and he started feeding bunch of families. Like he's feeding like millions of people now. Like if like I think his goal is like to feed like 1 billion people, but he's feeding families. And I think, man, like that is such a good idea. Like to me that would just make my my day to see like I would not be able to see them, but I know like it would happen. Like these kids, if they would receive a meal, like it would just put smile on their faces because they're always hungry and stuff like that. Like like we in America, and I know like a lot of Russian people, like and Slavic people that watch me, we are used to pretty much eating what we want here. Like our refrigerators somewhat full, and our bellies are full, and I think a lot of times we're always like hustling, trying to make all this money, thinking it's not enough, when in reality in Russia, like, man, like some of these families, like even if they have it work, they literally make $100 per month. Out of that money, you still have to pay bills and you still got to put food on the table. So these families are like struggling. So here's what I kind of like decided to do. I want to do something about it, like, and I'm going to start, I'm probably going to open up a nonprofit organization, but I really need to weigh these things out. At this time, I just want to help some of these families myself. If any of you want to do the same thing and you want to help contribute, like I'm gonna like tell you like what families I helped and stuff. Like I'm not gonna give out like their names and stuff like that, but I'll tell you the situations. Here's the thing, at the bottom of each video there's t-shirts for sale by TeeSpring. Here's what I'm gonna do. All the proceeds, and I'm gonna make an official video on this, all the proceeds that's going to be given to my like from somebody buying a t-shirt, because I get like half money is my profit. I think like every t-shirt I profit like $10. If you buy like a t-shirt, I'm gonna use that money to try to like put it in the bank. That way I could actually help those families. Like I'm gonna put my money in there. Like I'm literally gonna be like using my money. Like my goal right now, just to use like $300 of my money to try to help like every single month to feed these families. I already know like 5 to 7 families that have kids. They're struggling. The job situation is not great. Like, I mean, these kids, I'm telling you, man, they haven't even seen like 1 box of French fries. You know what I mean? Like to eat it. Like they don't even know what going out is like, like the restaurants and stuff. Like they're struggling to, put food on the table, for the kids, like these parents and stuff. So I want to mainly feed the kids. Like I think parents they should like take care of themselves, like and stuff. Like if somebody like they don't have like kids, but kids, like they are for the most part, like kids, they have no choice. If their parents got it, they got it. If the parents don't got it, like what are the kids gonna do? He can't do nothing, like he's just gonna be like struggling, like they don't have nothing to eat, so I'm kind of thinking I think it's gonna be a good idea to give $300 out of my pocket. I'm actually going to hire a person to distribute the food in Russia, also out of my pocket. So, it would actually help for me to get some, like donations to try to do that. Like, I don't need no money myself. Like, seriously, I have enough. Like, I work for my stuff. I still have to work. I'm not rich. I still have to work, but I'm saying, man, like, compared to what I have and what they have down there, it's a night and day difference. So, also, I have a Patreon. All the money that's going to be donated in Patreon is going to be used directly to try to help, feed these kids, these families. And also my PayPal. Like, I have a PayPal link. Any money that's going to be donated to my PayPal, that's going to be like the money that I'm going to be using to help feed these families. Like, man, like, it breaks my heart, guys. I'm telling you, like, to see these families struggling. Like, a lot of times this kind of stuff comes to my mind. Like, when I hear something, like this, like, my wife just came up to me like yesterday. She's like, Serge, like, there's this one, like, one family in Russia. And I know about this family. I heard about them before. They have like 9 kids. And the husband, he cannot find like no work, like, ever. Like, there's no work because he does these side jobs. Like, he basically does like body work on cars. There's no clients. I mean, they live in a small city in Russia. That's the same city I grew up in. Small city. And you know how Russians are. They're always, like, all Russians, they fix their own stuff. Like, who are you supposed to do work for if everybody is mainly fixing their own stuff? They're like all like DIY type of guys. There's literally like no work. Like, and to try to go like work somewhere, like, there's no work. Those jobs are like taken up already. And a lot of families, they already own their own stores for that reason, to try to, I guess, provide for their families. But my wife tells me, you know what, like, they had like, and she told me this like story, which is kind of like upsetting to me, and I didn't want to believe it, but I'm like, this is the way she said it, like, the husband, he bought a piece of bread, and he was at work somewhere doing the work, and he ate that piece of bread, and he came home and he says, I don't have anything. And you know what, I'm like thinking, man, like you almost could say, like, you know what, this man is like, doesn't care about his kids, like, and he just did not bring a piece of bread. But at the same time, I'm like, man, he went to work to try to work, and like, I guess he spent all day, like, looking for work, bought a piece of bread while he was looking for work and didn't find it, and he ate it because he was hungry, and it's like, who does not go to lunch, on their break or whatever, to try to do that. But I'm kind of still thinking, I mean, like, what, a piece of bread, like, he did not bring it. And like, that was a problem. Like, the family is like, pretty much like, they're hungry, and I'm like, oh man, like, I got to do something about this. This is crazy, like, and I'm like, look, maybe this happened one time. It's just, this thing's being like blown out of proportion, like that he ate like, some bread and he didn't bring it for his family. But what if this is happening all the time? I know this family is always struggling. Like, they always been struggling because, they have a lot of kids, and, this is, it's not kids' choice to so many of them to be born. Let's not get into that. Like, it's not up to the kids, it's up to the parents. But, when kids go hungry because, parents made a decision to have a bunch of kids, but not to have the job to feed them, it's still not the kid's fault, So in this case, I mean, I would just want to help these kids, to try to stay fed. And like, single women. Like, there's a story about this older lady. She was living on her, let's say, like, Social Security, but in Russia it's called something else. And in Russia there's like this scam going on where she was scammed out of her Social Security because she signed some papers that was like blank, and they typed up a document saying like she's going to be like forwarding all that money to them, and you cannot do nothing about it. Like, that's like illegal. It's illegal scams. Like, they do it like legally through paperwork, and this has been a problem for a while. Like, you just get scammed, and that's it. And man, like, but anyways, guys, if you wanna do that, to try to like donate some money through t-shirts, PayPal, or Patreon, do that. If you don't, it's okay, no problem. I'm gonna just do it myself. But I'm kind of thinking, look, I have this channel and I like to do good on the world, like, if possible. Like, I like to help people out with their problems, to try to save the money, in America. Because, we live here. Yes, it's good, but we're also struggling because, we got to pay our bills. We got to put food on our table, and we got to do that. And in order to do it successfully, like a lot of times, we have to fix our own stuff. If we would not have this money left over. And I try to do that to provide information how to do it and how to sometimes like not even buy that part, or find it, like cheaply or whatever, because, this helps. And I know one thing about me, what helped me to kind of climb out of the gutter was because I started fixing my own stuff. Because I started fixing my own stuff, I started actually saving money. Because I was sometimes doing some preventive maintenance and I was buying some parts online that was like way cheaper than a dealer or like a parts store. And I had those parts with me. That means I was not under anybody's mercy to try to fix my own vehicle. So I did that. I was fixing it. And then I hustled and worked very, very hard, not seeing my kids, not seeing my wife. It was tough on our family, but I worked, just work. Like I would be gone, like guys, like month and a half, just so I could save money. And I saved $13,000. It took me like a little bit over a year, but I saved it, and it was pretty much like, man, I had to like cut costs and do all kinds of stuff, to try to, really just make it. And then we got a house that was completely run down, and it's not even a house. I mean, this is it's not a trailer, but it is a manufactured home. It does have there's a big difference with that. Like it's it's got a normal type of roof. It looks like a house, except they're just not built quality. They built pretty much a little bit higher quality than trailers, but they're still built very low quality. So it was up to me to try to fix it up in time, and I'm still working on fixing it because, like I said, not rich. I'm trying to, out of all my paychecks, take a little bit of money and fix. And because I'm doing that, a lot of times I'm making mistakes because a lot of times I don't know, like, I'm learning something for the first time because it's a big project and that means I have to do it 2 times. But for the most part, I'm not. Like, I'm just doing it like 1 time, and just do it and basically, save money because I'm living in a place that's mine. So I'm saving rent money, and I'm just reinvesting into my home to try to like bring it into good shape. But I'm not trying to like give you guys that advice, but I'm just saying that it is possible for like if you're willing to live below your means to try to get something cheap if you could find it, because it's not easy to find it. But I mean, this place, nobody wanted it. Like there was like 2,600 people that looked at this place. Nobody bought it. It was overgrown with weeds and just man, it was just bad. But I love it. We gave love to it and fixed it up and stuff like that. So but anyways, guys, I hope somebody learns from some of these examples that I've provided in this video, because I try to be helpful and educational as much as possible. But at the end of the day, I'm just one guy out of many people. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I'm not the dumbest either. I don't fix the sprinters the best way. I'm not saying like I'm not like the best mechanic out there, but whatever I do does work. The knowledge that I share, it's probably the biggest source on YouTube now when it comes to sprinter vans, especially for the T1Ns. It is growing, but I will continue doing it. And I'm kind of thinking, look, I want to use my reputation for the good to try to help people, because life is short, and I think we need to be useful in this life, being as human beings, and to try to leave something good behind, because man, like I mentioned this before, I'm going to be like 38 this month, I mean in May, and basically in another 12 years I'm going to be like 50. And if you see like where I'm going with this, like man, I feel like I'm still like so young, but I'm gonna be like 50, and 50 to me is a solid number. Like 50, that's 50. I used to think like 50 is like, wow, you're pretty much almost a grandpa. I mean, you probably are a grandpa in some cases, because if you're 50 years old, chances are your kids are fully grown, because if you start having your kids at 20, your kids are 30 years old now, So then, yeah, like you are a grandpa. You probably have like a couple grandkids, probably like 10 years old, by that time. So yeah, like, I mean, my son Kevin, I mean, he's going to be like, he's 7 years old right now. And I mean, he's pretty much going to be like what, like 18 years old. I mean, 18 years old. It's going to be like 20 years old, pretty much. You know, when I'm going to be like 50. So chances are he's going to be like already married. But all I'm saying is, man, like, you got to do good in this world. I mean, we're put on this earth, the way I see it, to do some good, not to try to just like take care of ourselves. Because I mean, what is the purpose of us just working, buying food for ourselves, like feeding our bodies, just doing that for us? I mean, like bunch of, you know, like machines that just do this day in and day out. Like, what is all that good for if we're not gonna help anybody? You know, that's just the way I see it. Like, you know, you may disagree with me. If you do agree with me, write what you think in the comments below, guys. But anyways, thanks for watching this video. Take care of yourself. God bless you guys. Stay safe, and I bless everybody that watched this video. Take care, guys. Bye-bye.
My name is Serge ZIMALETA. I'm 37 years old, and yes, I experienced success after buying my first home for cash. Back in 2011, I was broke, but I learned to solve problems on my own. Now, I'm helping others to solve their problems. I know what pitfalls to avoid to stay profitable in business. Need motivation to be more successful in your life? Do you have Sprint or Expedite or business problems? Then subscribe. Let's find creative solutions to your problems. Hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of my helpful videos.